Hey, Trump gotta go. I feel like a broken record saying this, but his scamming hit a new level. I don't know how that's possible. And I don't know how his supporters not see this. He's got to be the most successful con artist or scammer of all time. I mean, the guy is the president. Since I made my last video about his corruption, he took it to a new level. I'm not going to waste no time. We're going to jump right into this. Before we get started, I want to ask everybody to subscribe to Politics with Steve on YouTube and sign up for my email list. Link is in the description below. Those are the best ways to stay in the loop on all things Politics with Steve. Now let's get to it. All right, quick lesson, and a lot of people may know this already, but buying stock is buying ownership into a company. Who owns a public company? Well, whoever owns the most shares. It can be a group of people or, another company or an individual. Now, how money is made on the stock market is like this. You buy a stock, you hold that stock. Over time, that stock pays a dividend. This is usually small in comparison to the amount of money you spend on a stock, but the big money is made by flipping stocks. For example, you buy a stock, that stock is $1 per share. The value of that stock goes up to $1.20 per share. You can sell that stock as soon as the value go up. It don't matter if it's days, hours, weeks, or years. So if the stock goes up to $1.20, then that means that you made 20 cents on every share of stock that you own. Now multiply that by the numbers that we're about to discuss here. And remember, Trump is the president of the United States. He has direct influence over a lot of these companies. He can help increase or decrease the value of these stocks with the policies that he implements. Keep that in mind. So we got a chance to see Trump financial disclosures, and it shows hundreds of millions of dollars in stock purchases just in the first part of this year. All right, Unusual Whales reported Trump bought millions in stocks after the Iran war dip. He also has had unusual large gains. You can see some of his top gains here where he has made millions. All right, we're finna dive into the specifics. So Trump made several transactions purchasing millions of dollars in Boeing stock in February and March. And during his trip in China last week, he took the CEO of Boeing, and look what he came back saying.
Made a lot of great trade deals, including over 200 planes for Boeing with a promise of 750 planes, which will be by far the largest order ever if they do a good job with the 200, which I'm sure they will. And that's General Electric also, the engines. So they're buying General Electric. So it's approximately 450 engines, 200 planes, and a promise of up to 750 if they do a good job.
So he's bragging that he just secured a business deal for a company that he got millions of dollars invested in. Trump purchased hundreds of thousands of dollars in Oracle stock on January 12th. A few days later, the company announced that they was involved in a purchase of TikTok, and guess what? The Trump administration brokered the deal. He made 12 purchases of DoorDash stock from January to March. Now, y'all remember he used the government to promote for DoorDash. Y'all remember that stage DoorDash, basically commercial, in which he had a DoorDash driver deliver McDonald's to the White House?
McDonald's.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I have your DoorDash order for you, Mr. President.
That's right. Look at this. This doesn't look staged, does it?
They're all your favorites.
That's right. These are good. DoorDash is doing a good job.
He just said DoorDash is doing a good job, advertising while he's in office, a company that he's investing in. This next scam is one that Senator Elizabeth Warren been calling him out on. So for backstory, the entire world runs on these microchips. Literally everything. Cars, TVs, computers, toys, video games, and most importantly, all of our advanced military equipment. They are the most important asset in the world. Nvidia, who makes these chips, is the most valuable company in the world. Now, in prior administrations, the US banned sale of Nvidia chips to China. Why? Because it's literally a matter of national security. But ironically, on January 6th, Trump purchased between 500,000 and 1 million shares of Nvidia stock. And on January 14th, he approved the US government being able to sell chips to China. So that's going to make Nvidia more money, more profitable. Again, a company that he's invested in. And like I said, Senator Elizabeth Warren been calling us out. Let's take a look at her post on Threads. She says Trump bought the Nvidia CEO on his trip to China to lobby Xi Jinping to buy advanced AI chips, even though it would create a US national security threat. It turns out Trump also bought millions in Nvidia stock. The president's corruption is a national security disaster, which it is. And she's also quoting unusual wells up in this post. Trump bought Plantar stock 14 times between January and March of 2026 for about $630,000. Just in March alone, he made at least 7 purchases of Plantar stock for about $530,000. Now, on April 10th, after shares of Plantar stock dropped by about 14%, Trump gets on his shitty social media site, Truth Social, doing nothing but praising his company. You know, he had to protect his investment. All right, here's that post. We can see April 10th. He says, Plantar Technology, and by the way, he even put the ticker symbol for the stock exchange. What has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemies, President DJT. He's signing this as president. Again, using a presidency to promote a company that he's invested in. Moving on, from January 26 to March 26, Trump purchased shares of Coinbase stock 9 times. March 4th, Trump urged the banks to start supporting the crypto industry. And after that, you could have guessed it, their shares went way up. So let's keep going. Quick lesson, bonds exactly the same as stock as far as buying and selling them on the open market. The only difference is stocks, you buy in ownership, bonds, you buy in debt. So the company owes you money, you're a creditor. So Trump bought bonds in an AI company called CoreWeave just days before the company announced that it was selected for a government program. Let's look at this Daily Beast article about this. So the Daily Beast reported Trump cashed in just one day after handing tech firm major deal. And then we can see here from the president's own filing shows him buying and selling bonds in a company to which his administration had just handed a major boost. Here we talk about the flurry of trades. So we're going to start at the paragraph to say the president's effort. We're going to skip to the third line. It says the Department of Energy announced on December 18th that the AI company startup CoreWeave had just joined the program. News that sent its stock price up almost 20%. Almost. So for that dollar example I gave, if the stock was $1, it went up to $1.20. That's crazy. That's a lot. Hey, Trump is clearly not acting in the best interest of the country. I don't know what more people need to see. He's just worried about lining his pockets. And that's why when we all heard that the alcoholic ex-Fox News weekend host that Trump put in charge of the entire U.S. military instructed his broker at Morgan Stanley to purchase millions of dollars in stocks for defense contractors right before we went to war in Iran, Trump didn't blink an eye. I mean, you would think that Trump will be outraged that his Secretary of Defense is more worried about his portfolio than the thousands of troops that he's putting in danger. But, you know, Trump never gave a fuck. And now we know why. It's just common practice with the Trump administration. And y'all know I'm going to get to his kids. We all know his family is doing the exact same thing. The Daily Beast reported Trump's son's new bid to cash in on daddy's presidency exposed. Now, before we get into specifics on Trump kids, I want to point out that Eric Trump's net worth was $40 million in 2024. Now, in 2026, it's estimated to be between $400 million and $1 billion. Now, let's talk specifics. First of all, Donald Trump Jr. is not a government employee, but somehow he was involved in the screening of Trump picks for top military or Pentagon positions, right? So Forbes reported last year he invested into a 3D printed rocket propellant startup. 8 months later, that company got a contract with the Pentagon. So on top of that, the New York Times reported Trump's son is poised to profit from Pentagon's drone proposal. Now, reading into the article, it says that this drone company called Unusual Machines gave Don Jr. 200,000 shares of their stock just to be an advisor. And one of the people in the Pentagon, probably somebody that Don Jr. vetted, recently promised to speed up the purchases of drones. They also announced a major purchase from this drone company that we're talking about, Unusual Machines. Now, this is going to be the first order ever from this company to the Pentagon. And guess what? The stock price of that company shot up. Now, remember I told y'all how money is made from stocks, right? You invest in a company and you hope that the stock price of that company go up and then you sell the stock. Well, guess what? Don Jr. was gifted shares of this stock. So everything he make from the rise in stock price plus the shares of the stock is all profit. And just last week, we seen the Pentagon budget. They announced a $74 billion investment into drones. This is the largest investment into drones company ever the United States military ever made. And you know they capitalizing on it. They got a second drone company called Powerus. That company has already received business from the Pentagon. But that's not all. Y'all know that's not all. They're not just looking to make money from the US government. The AP just reported this about that same company, Powerus. Company backed by Trump's sons look to sell drone interceptors to Gulf states being attacked by Iran. So let me get this straight. Y'all daddy start a war and y'all just so happen to have drone companies to benefit from this war? Now, remember I told y'all in my last corruption video that Polymarket hired Don Jr. as an advisor. They were under investigation when Trump came into office, and that investigation just went away. So now he's advising a drone company and a betting platform. This guy has expertise in none of that. The Trump boys are literally useless nobodies. Their only quality, like the article we just seen, is that their dad is the president of the United States. But they are making a killing off of this. The Financial Times just reported that Cove Capital, which is a mining company that the Trump boys got a financial stake in, they already received a $1.6 billion contract from the US government. That company is now trying to get an extra $400 million from the Pentagon. The CEO of Cove Capital went on record saying that his company received direct assistance from Trump administration Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick to secure the underlying mining deals. But like I said, one of their net worths went from 40 million to 400 to 1 billion. So there is a lot more. The useless brothers been hard at work. So the Daily Beast just reported that Trump signs mega tower deal with firm tied to sanctioned pro-Putin billionaire. So this is how Russia buys people. This is how they launder money. When they say pro-Putin billionaire, that's how Putin pays people off, through his friends. So the Trump organization is moving into the Kremlin's backyard. Like, this is unbelievable. President Donald Trump's sons are planning a new Trump Tower with the help from a company linked to a sanctioned pro-Kremlin billionaire and another whose founder was investigated for alleged ties to Russian gangsters. So by now, everybody should know any Trump charities or not-for-profits, this is all a scam. I mean, I don't got to remind y'all about his fake university that was later determined to be a scam. We're not going to even bring up that old stuff. Let's just keep it on the new stuff. So Trump received about $63 million for a not-for-profit presidential library from a lot of companies, and that money just went missing. Senator Elizabeth Warren been all over this on Threads, so we're going to take a look at a pair of her posts. So in this post, she said, companies that have paid settlements to the Trump Library Fund, ABC, $15 million, Meta, $22 million, X, $10 million, Paramount, $16 million. The original library fund has now been dissolved. So where did all that money go? So what happened to the money? Like, what's going on here? And in this post, she continued. She said, I asked X, Paramount, ABC, Meta, where their donations to the Trump Presidential Library went. None of them could give her a clear answer. Tens of millions of dollars are missing. Bruh, this corruption is insane. When I hear people saying, Democrats are the same, give me a fucking break. All they got is these debunked Hunter Biden stories. I mean, my governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, just signed an executive order banning all Illinois government employees from using insider information to make money on prediction markets. See, he's only a state governor. He can't do it for the entire United States. We need actions like this and even going further for the entire U.S. government. And look, even Melania Trump is getting in on a grift. The Daily Beast reported that President Donald Trump is reportedly holding on to a $70 million luxury jet acquired under former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and the First Lady will get VIP access. So now she got a personal jet. His wife got a personal jet on the U.S. government's dime. Now let's get to today's breaking news. This $10 billion lawsuit that Trump filed against the IRS. He settled it today, but this lawsuit was outrageous for several reasons. First of all, he was supposed to release his tax records as president of the United States. Every other president had no problem releasing their tax records. Trump did not release his. Second of all, this wasn't even done by the U.S. government. This was done by a contractor that had access to private information on behalf of the U.S. government. This contractor released thousands of other wealthy people tax records as well. He was put in jail for this. Everybody knows this. He paid the price for doing this. Now, other people brought suit to the government, and guess what? The government settled with them and had to issue apologies. That's all they got. But Trump wanted $10 billion for some reason. And then last week, it was reported that his personal law firm was negotiating with the US government on a settlement for this outrageous lawsuit. Now, I think that they was forced to do this because on May 20th, a hearing was coming up in which a federal judge was already skeptical that this case had case or controversy, meaning that he was getting ready to toss this lawsuit out, in my opinion. And what case and controversy means is when you suing somebody, it has to be two opposing parties. This federal judge was skeptical that it was two opposing parties. It was basically like Trump versus Trump because Trump controls the entity that he was suing, the federal government. He controls everybody. He's the boss of the people that would have been defending the lawsuit against him. He even said that he would instruct his employees to pay him out on that lawsuit. So this federal judge seen that and was like, you got until May 20th to tell me why I should let this lawsuit proceed. So you know what Trump did? They dropped the lawsuit and then settled it. And a part of the settlement is the DOJ is agreeing to establish a $1.776 billion fund for victims of lawfare and weaponization to be heard and seek readdress. Basically, Trump is taking money from our pockets and giving it to people that rioted on January 6th. Now, it's a lot I still want to learn about this settlement. I'm looking for settlement terms to continue coming out because last week it was reported that some of the settlement terms would include the IRS agreeing to close all audits against Trump family, his businesses, and agreeing to no future audits of Trump, his family, and their businesses. That's just crazy. Like, he always moving like he trying to hide something. We all know what that is. Another thing I want to understand is they say that this is for people that was prosecuted by the DOJ for the January 6th insurrection. I want to know if Trump think that he's entitled to any of those funds because that was also not clear by the terms of the settlement that the DOJ released. So some more notable stock transactions. Trump bought up to $100,000 in stock for GLP-1. Later, during a televised speech, he went off topic to praise GLP-1s. March 2nd to March 25th, 2026, Trump made 6 purchases of Micron stock worth up to $500,000. A day later, on March 26th, Trump called up Fox News and praised Micron as one of the hottest companies in the country. And now we finna get to the grand scheme of all time. This is the best scam I've ever seen, ever. I gotta give him the credit. This is the best scam ever. So Trump family businesses collected deposits from 590,000 people, $100 a pop. They collected $59 million, damn near $60 million for a Trump gold phone, and he stiffed them. His supporters are straight suckers for this one. The phones were supposed to be delivered in August of 2025, and to this day, not a single phone been delivered. Now, that's not even the worst part. There's no new information about the release date, and the company selling the Trump phones changed the terms and conditions for sale. I gotta show y'all this. This one here is too good. All right, so More Perfect Union posted 590,000 people paid $59 million for the Trump Gold phone. A year later, no phone shipped. And then look at this. According to MoneyWise, Trump Mobile quietly updated its pre-order deposit terms and conditions on April 6, 2026. A pre-order deposit provides only a conditional opportunity if Trump Mobile later elects in its sole discretion to offer the device for sale. A deposit is not a purchase, does not constitute acceptance of an order, does not create a contract for sale, does not transfer ownership or title interest, does not allocate or reserve specific inventory, and does not guarantee that a device will be purchased or made available for purchase. Bro, to summarize that, y'all may not get these phones and y'all can't get y'all money back. It's basically a donation. Hey, Trump is out here literally destroying everyday Americans' financial situation. I mean, making everything worse while he doing everything he can to make as much money while he's in office. I don't know how anybody still support him. He needs to go yesterday.